How does the rivalry between Washington and Beijing affect the global economy? So rivalry implies to a great extent that both countries are growing stronger, especially China. And Rubini pointed out some time ago around the summer of 2021. He noted that in principle it should be good for global equities and also good in the equities of both countries, that is US and China. Yet it may imply a Cold War scenario, and that becomes more prevalent as both countries seek to become or remain a global hegemon. So the global war becomes colder, possibly resulting in increased decoupling and fragmentation of the global economy. And just recently, as recent as the 31st or 30th of March 2023, the World Bank warned that technology decoupling and trade restrictions stemming from the tension between these two countries, that is the US and China, are hurting knowledge generation and innovation in those two countries, posing a long-term threat to growth across Asia. And Asia is the powerhouse of the world. If Asia's growth decelerates, then global growth definitely would decelerate. The deepening division between the two biggest economies poses the most immediate challenge in Asia Pacific, according to the bank and according to its semi-annual economic update for the region. Bilateral restrictions on technology flows and collaboration between large countries could reduce the global availability of knowledge, according to the bank, adding that empirical evidence showed the adverse effects of recent restrictions on companies in China and the US, as well as their top trading partners. China's President Xi Jinping has become increasingly assertive towards Hong Kong and Taiwan, as well as in the South China Sea, and backed Vladimir Putin despite Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In the US, Joe Biden has adopted many of his predecessors' more hawkish policies towards China, including tariffs and export controls intended to cut off Chinese companies' access to critical technologies. The World Bank's findings, based on analysis of patent trends in the US and China, found that post-2018 measures taken by Beijing and Washington have damaged corporate innovation in both countries. This in turn threatened to undermine decades of stable economic growth in the Asia Pacific region. Okay, once you move away from open integrated markets, which are governed by predictable trade rules, to protectionism, trade division, and politically influenced choices, you introduce uncertainty, which is to nobody's advantage, according to Aditya Mathu, the bank's chief economist for East Asia and the Pacific. Other countries would struggle to exploit economies of scale if they had to comply with conflicting technology standards set by different different governments, according to Mathu, which is exactly what Rubini pointed out. It's a defragmentation. You are the polarized war. Then you like they are pointing out here, other countries trying to exploit economies of scale will find it challenging to balance the prevailing standards from these two hegemons. So while a push to diversify manufacturing and technology supply chains away from China initially provided a boost to China and countries in Southeast Asia, the World Bank warned that deeper problems were emerging. On the face of it, new opportunities have been created. You see a dramatic increase in Vietnam's exports, especially to the US, and also a dramatic increase in Indonesia's exports, especially to China, with metal, according to Mathu. But these opportunities could be eroded by further U.S.-China decoupling, which is disrupting trade flows and raising costs for companies by forcing them to separate their supply chains to avoid violating export restrictions. The uncertainty could lead to less investment. This is particularly the case with green technologies as developing countries in Asia look to transition to renewable energy. The bank projected growth in the region of 5.1% this year 2023, up from 3.5% last year 2022. Excluding China, the region's growth is projected to fall to 4.9% from 5.8% last year. So the Washington-Beijing rivalry risks growth in Southeast Asia and the Pacific, and indeed globally. See what you make of all of this, and I'll continue to update you. Thank you very much for watching this video.